I'm buying a midfielder, I'm buying a defender, I think I'm backing against Erling Haaland, and I'm reacting to this news. A double game week in 26 confirmed. And let's start with that for my team selection this week. So we now know there will be a double game week. The Premier League have provisionally booked in Arsenal to have a double and Chelsea to have a double, but only one of those teams will, depending on who reaches the EFL Cup final. Now, we won't know the answer to that until next week when the second leg of the semi-final takes place. But as things stand, Arsenal are heavy favourites to do it. They're leading Chelsea. The second leg is at the Emirates. And if that happens, Arsenal get a double of Brentford and Wolves, both away, but we'll all be captaining an Arsenal player, right? It will be Captain Saka, or Captain Gabriel, or Captain Rice, depending on where you land there. Wolves will also get a double for those that own a Wolves player, although I don't think that changes much with our thinking right here, right now. And then look, if Chelsea go and get the double, brilliant. Captain Enzo, very possibly. João Pedro, maybe. And then it would also be Everton. Everton would have 2 home games as part of their double. So again, Tarkowski owners may be very happy about that. So that's where we're at. Does it affect our planning right here, right now with our teams? I don't think it massively does. Like, I don't look at this and go, I need to provisionally make sure I've got a triple Chelsea. No, because it's very unlikely Chelsea reach the FA Cup, the EFL Cup final. 90%, according to the bookies, that Arsenal will do it. And most of us already have triple Arsenal. If you don't have triple Arsenal, now's still a good time to buy them. They play Leeds, Sunderland before a potential double game week. And then Wolves and Everton, we're not overly interested in anyway. So we wait and we react next week. But in terms of our decisions this week, I'm buying 2 players from none of these teams. And I don't think that matters because there are informed teams we are chasing right here, right now. So let me go through my team. We can see here a couple of players I'm selling. But before I go through who I'm selling, let me just go through who I'm keeping in my current team. This is my team selection video after all. And then I'll tell you who the replacements are. Happy with my goalkeepers. If I'm on wildcard, I'm not going Raya. But for the time being, Raya's fine. And you could say the same about Virgil and O'Reilly. Like, if I was on wildcard, I'm not picking Virgil van Dijk or I'm not picking O'Reilly. But I'm happy with these players. I'm happy enough with these players. They're not fires, right? Very happy with Mukiele. And then Gabriel feels like a must-have. We talk about must-haves in FPL. In fact, question to you, comment in the chat, in the comments, how many must-have players or who are the must-have players in FPL right now? Sometimes you'd say none. Earlier this season, I said there was only one and it was Haaland. Right now, and it changes all the time, right now I'd say there are 2. And I think I've got them both in my team. I'd say Gabriel is a must-have. And I'd say Bruno Fernandes is, if not a must-have, very close to being a must-have. And Bruno is being bought by a lot of managers this week. I bought him last week. He delivered. But playing 10 for Carrick, he's going to be amazing. He'll still get some DEFCON, but we're going to see more open play stuff. Goals, assists. He still comes with the pens and the corners. He's just everything you want from an FPL asset, a 90-minute man talisman. And at 9.4, it still feels like quite a good price point. Speaking of price points, Miley at 4.4 has been great. What you want from your 8th attacker or your 7th attacker is just someone, if you're going to hide him on your bench, you just want someone that gets the minutes and occasionally gets you extra points. And Lewis Miley gets me the minutes and he gets DEFCON quite a bit as well. Enzo Fernandez was a brilliant buy 2 weeks ago. I got an assist. And then last week I got a goal. I think the points continue. Like, Chelsea fixtures are insane. 3 home games in the next 4. It's a good, and the home games are like West Ham, Leeds, Burnley. Like, very good stretch of games for Chelsea. Rossini looks good, we got to say. I'm a bit worried they're conceding too many, but let's see. Saka for now stays. Again, if I'm on wildcard, I'm probably going Rice, but a good captaincy option for Game Week 26 for sure, if we get that Arsenal double, and I think we will. I think Arsenal beat Chelsea, and then the Arsenal double Game Week in 26. Saka's a really nice differential captain. There's a lot more own Rice, and I think a lot will captain Gabriel. Saka feels like the upside might be there. And the spacing between fixtures of those 2 games, I think there's an FA Cup game between where Madueke will surely start. But for Game Week 26, the Premier League fixtures for Saka, I think the spacing between them is going to be absolutely fine to go, yeah, he'll still start both those matches, probably play 90 twice. And then up front, well, let's talk about Ekitike, because I've heard people talking about selling Ekitike. It's not for me, guys. Like, he's looked so good of late. And I know the FPL points haven't been there. The performances have been. And again, in the Champions League, we've got goal and assist. Happy days. Ekitike is not going anywhere for me. Nor is Haaland. So the 2 players that are going somewhere is one of them is a Liverpool player, which again is why I quite like Ekitike. If I'm getting rid of Szoboszlai, I still want that Liverpool attacking cover. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't edit these videos, so you had to listen to that. I could have just pressed mute. Anyway, Szoboszlai. I could feel a sneeze coming for ages. I was like, oh, maybe I can avoid. No, it happened. Soboslai's going. He's been great. But I think with Frimpong being injured and probably being injured, he went off in the 4th minute. And clearly they've got injury problems. Gomez injured too. I think Soboslai could play right back. And if he does, you definitely don't want him in your FPL team like Yale Defcon. But he's been great. If he leaves me on a 13-pointer, happy days. He's lost penalties now back to Salah. He obviously had his pen and missed it a couple of weeks ago. You'll still get some corners and some open play, long distance shots. But Soboslai's a good pick. There's just so many better midfielders right now. And that's the thing. Sometimes you've got to sell a good player to buy what you think is a better player. And that's what I'm doing with Soboslai. And then Lewis Potter, he's being sold because he's not in the 11 anymore. He was just a short-term punt. And I'm okay with that. I bought him in. I got my 6-pointers. I think I got 2 6-pointers. When Dango was at AFCON, I knew Lewis Potter would start. But his time is up and he was always going to be a sell. So I'm buying a midfielder. I'm buying a defender. Which ones? Let's go through some options. I've got 2 options. Guys, if you want to support, by the way, a like would be amazing, but do subscribe if you're new around here. And if you've got any questions, do drop a comment. Thank you as always for the support. If you want to be a member, there's more info on the QR code or click join below. You can also hype. I don't know what hyping does, but I think if you click those buttons, it's good for the channel. Options. I like Man United mids. But I don't want to go to Mbermo because I don't think that's good for my team structure and I can't really afford him. So Ahmad. 6.2, you save 2 million on Mbermo. I don't think there's a huge gap between them. I think Mbermo outscores Ahmad over time. But I think Ahmad, considering he's 2 million less, 20% cheaper, I think that's a substantial saving. And for value, I think Ahmad might edge it. I really like the Ahmad option. It also then allows me to go to a defender up to 5.8, which gets me, look, I've already got Arsenal defenders. I've already got Man City. I've already got Virgil, who's all right. Chalobah feels good. He's 2nd best performing defender so far this game week. I like Chalobah. He didn't start in the week, which was a little bit weird, a little bit surprising from Chalobah. He's been a 90-minute man for like the last 15 game weeks for Chelsea. And he's defconned in 4 of the last 5 games. He's had the additional 2 points, 21% owned. Interesting in the week that he did come off the bench straight away. Well, after an hour, 59 minutes. And we saw James playing centre-back, Gusto right-back. And that changed, right? So Gusto came off. James went to right-back. Chalobah centre-back. Happy days. Chelsea then scored 2 minutes later. João Pedro scored, and then they scored the winner. Chalobah came on at 2-1 down. I think Rosenior probably sees him as a first-choice centre-back. Is it risky now, given the fact in the week he had a bit of rotation? Possibly. I was surprised to see Fofana get the nod over Chalobah or Reece James at centre-back get the nod. Effectively, Gusto got the nod over Chalobah. But I still think he's the best Chelsea defender to buy. Does he come with a slight risk? You'd have to say yes, he probably does, given what we saw in Napoli. But do I think he continues to start? In the Premier League? Yeah, probably. And West Ham, Leeds and Burnley at home, surely Chelsea can keep clean sheets in that one. I'm slightly concerned when I look at the Chelsea defensive numbers, though. They've not been great. Like when you look at Chelsea's defensive numbers, not been too pretty. When you look at their attacking numbers, really good. 12.48 XG over the last 6. So the 2nd best attack so far in the league over the last 6. That's really good. Really strong. When you look at Man United in the last 6, they're top half. Not quite sure if I think I need to be investing in a Chelsea defender. A bit worried that they are very open under Rosenior. Under Rosenior, it does feel like an all-out attack approach. So when I look at these fixtures, do I think I'm going to get all the sets of 90? Probably. Do I think I'm going to get the DEFCON? Yeah, that's not going to change. But do I get the clean sheets? In theory, with the fixtures, I should, but I'm not convinced. And then when I look at Ahmad, we haven't seen Man United under Carrick play against teams which allow you to have the ball, that play deeper. So when Man United play Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham and Everton, in most of those games, they will dominate possession and the team they're playing will be quite a lot deeper, quite a low block. Against Man City and Arsenal, United had a little, like 40% possession. United were the team deeper. United had space to run in behind because City and Arsenal were pressing them high up the pitch, and it benefits Mbermo, it benefits Ahmad. United played on the counter and they did it so well against City and Arsenal. United might continue to be amazing. They might smash Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham, Everton, blow them all away. But they might also struggle a little bit because we haven't seen them having to break down compact, defensive, disciplined teams. And I just wonder if I'm overcommitting with double United attack. Do I wait a game or two? Tempted to go early on Ahmad. He's 1% owned. I don't think there's a better option at 1% owned than Ahmad. Like, amazing differential. But do I just need to calm myself a little bit and go, you've still got the most reliable points scorer in Bruno. And we'll talk about captaincy later. But if I'm captaining Bruno, I'm effectively going double Man United already. So do I hold and just go double Bruno and avoid Ahmad and Chalobah? So look, these are the two spots still up for grabs. We've done option one. And by the way, option one does involve Chalobah, which is potentially getting in another doubler for 26. But we must remember that double game week news. It's very likely it's Arsenal and Wolves that get the double. Very likely. Arsenal are winning the semi-final today, and the second leg is at the Emirates. There's a 1-goal advantage already. If it was a draw and we were more likely to get a 50-50 even, going Chalobah would make sense to buy the ticket to the draw to get lucky, right? A week early. Of course, we can just wait next week and react to the double game week news. But look, that's your option one. Option two's I think option two is probably where my heart is. I'll give the conclusion at the end where I think I'm going to go. But Rodgers is a real tempter for me. Rodgers is someone I've wanted to own for weeks. So option two is Maguire and Rodgers, you can see in those spots. Now, let's talk Rodgers, because the Villa fixtures, just like Man United and Chelsea, I love the Villa fixtures. Like Aston Villa, 3 of the next 4 at home, and Villa are really good at home. Brentford, Brighton and Leeds. Brentford aren't great away. Brighton always come and have a go, and Leeds aren't great away. I like those 3 fixtures. And then wedged between Bournemouth again, who are quite leaky. So Morgan Rodgers got 8 points last time out. But against Everton, when I watched that game in Game Week 22, I watched the game and I vowed to buy Rodgers very soon. I said, I can't keep watching Rodgers. In that game, he had like 5 or 6 shots. He clocked an XG of 0.82. He was a beast. I don't know how he blanked. Non-owners like me got away with one. And by the way, he's 31% owned. He is a highly owned FPL asset that damages your rank when he scores points if you don't own him. I don't own Watkins. I don't want any other Villa attacker. For me, it's Rodgers or no one. And with those fixtures, the price point's okay. He's a tad on the expensive side, but the value there is fine. 0.82 XG against Everton. He was so involved. He was so busy. I am very tempted to go down the Aston Villa route and get Rodgers in. I mean, obviously they do have the Thursday night game, but look, amazing. Rested, benched on Thursday night. That's great news. Like Villa played a B team, pretty much. Watkins started, but Rodgers has needed that rest, and he's finally got it. And he is a 90-minute beast. So Rodgers is one option, but if I go down the Rodgers, not the Ahmad route, I can't go spend 5.6 on a defender. It gives me 4.3. Now, fortunately, there are a lot of very good cheap defenders that started at 4.5 that have dropped, or even those that started at 4 that are actually still good options. When you filter on the FPL site, honestly, you go to defenders and you look at 4.3 and what it gets you, good value. There's so many good options this season at that price point. I mean, at 4.4, you can get Richards of Palace. The Sunderland defenders are cheap. Dorgu was 4.4. Konza the same. You get the Leeds defenders. You can get Brighton defenders at that. Starters for these teams. Really good options. Wolves, if you fancy for the double game week. But the standout for me is Maguire. There's 2. I like Maguire. Let's talk about him first. I like Maguire for goal threat. I'd say Maguire. I'd say Van Dijk and Gabriel are the top 2 centre-backs in the league for if you're going to score a header, who's going to get it from a set piece? Gabriel, number 1. Virgil, number 2. Probably Maguire 3. Senesi 4. Tarkowski 5, maybe? I don't know. Maguire's up there. Maguire's going to get me some goals if I buy him. If I hold him long-term, he'll also get me DEFCON. His DEFCON's okay. It's not Chalobah levels, but it's good. He'll get DEFCON 40-50% of the time versus Chalobah will get it 70% of the time. But I like the fixtures for clean sheets too. Like when we look at the attacks of Fulham, Tottenham, West Ham and Everton, this is the XG from the last 6. West Ham, middling attack. Tottenham, bottom half. Fulham, bottom half. Everton, one off the bottom. These aren't attacks that are doing well. I fancy Maguire to get me some points here. some DEFCON, some clean sheets, maybe bonus when he keeps clean sheets too. He was man of the match versus Arsenal, by the way. Didn't get the bonus, but was player of the match. Maguire's a real tempter. But I don't have to spend 4.3. I could save 0.4. And if I save 0.4, I go to James Hill, 3.9. He started the last 5 games. Make no doubt about it, James Hill is first choice at Bournemouth. They bought Diakate, hasn't worked out yet. James Hill has come in and he's nailed the spot. Iraola's been so complimentary in the last week about James Hill. He said that defending better since he's been in the team. He's 0.8% owned. He's paid consecutive 90s for the last 5 alongside Senesi. But look at the DEFCON. Like Chalobah, he's DEFCONed in 4 of the last 5. And the one he didn't DEFCON in against Brighton, he got 9. He needs 10. But he's had an 18, a 13, an 11. The floor feels like 4 points every week. And Bournemouth, top of the fixture ticker. I just always feel with Bournemouth when they play Wolves and Villa and Everton up next, they're gonna always concede a goal. But if I get 4 points, you can bench him in the bad games. James Hill's a real tempter. So if I go down the route of option 2, this option, Maguire and Rodgers, it could be Rodgers and Hill. So where am I at with that? I'm going to say there's a 40% chance to go down the Ahmad and Chalobah route. I really like Ahmad. I really like Chalobah. I like getting on Man United early. But I'm more likely to go down the option 2 route, to go down the Rodgers route. And Rodgers is so exciting. Having a rest on Thursday night matters. Again, the appeal of Ahmad is the Man United just always have a rest. 40 games they're going to play this season. 38 Premier League games, 1 FA Cup, 1 FL Cup, no Europe. No midweek football. They get a full week on the training ground. Well, 9 of the teams in the division have Europe. It really matters. And I think Man United are going to look really good because of a full week on the training ground, especially under Carrick. Villa haven't got that luxury, but in Rodgers, I get someone that could even be on pens. With Tielemans injured, I mean, Douglas Luiz probably comes in and takes them, but there's every chance Rodgers takes pens. Rodgers takes some free kicks. Rodgers is a 10. Rodgers open play goal threat. He's playing to be the number 10 for England at the World Cup. There's every chance he starts in the World Cup for Tuchel. Tuchel loves him. A lot to play for. The running is so important to Villa. Champions League football. Some might say the title's still up for grabs. I beg to differ. But a spot of the World Cup in the 11, yeah, that's a good enough carrot for Rodgers. And I think that's where I'll probably land is option 2. And it will be the Rodgers and Maguire route. So what does that look like when I look at my actual team and benching dilemmas, and we'll talk captaincy? Well, look, this is how I'd line up if I went down. Let's put Maguire in over Hill, but it very, very easily could be Hill. I haven't decided. I need to see what that 0.4 does for me. First, let's do benchings. I would bench O'Reilly. I don't know if O'Reilly's going to start. O'Reilly didn't play left back in the week. He played centre mid, but Rodri was suspended. Rodri will be back against Spurs and he'll play centre mid, and that leaves a spot on the left back for O'Reilly. But Aït-Nouri played well in the week. Ake now will be a left back if Guehi's centre back. So it's Ake, Aït-Nouri, O'Reilly, and it's spin the wheel each week. I don't know if I want to be playing that pep roulette with O'Reilly. So I'll probably sell him eventually and bench him this week, because the fear with O'Reilly is if he doesn't start, he could very easy, as he has done, come on for 15 minutes and get you a 1-pointer. And I'm not interested in that. So I'd bring Maguire in to start him. I was very happy. Virgil, Gabriel, Mukiele, they're all very good. Like, there's good DEFCON options there as well, especially if I go down the Hill route. And then Rodgers, you're very excited about owning a Rodgers, right? Like, home to Brentford's a good entry point, and we've spoken about those fixtures. By captaining Bruno Fernandes, I've still got double Man United attack. I can still be happy about double Man United attack. Whilst many will be going and Burmo and Bruno this week, and now have double United, maybe they captain Haaland. I can still go with one Man United attacker, but captain him and have that effective double up. As long as Bruno performs, I'll get big points. And I think Bruno over Haaland purely as a route to points. Haaland looked good against Galatasaray. The dink finish he's so good at on the one-on-one. He should have had a header, should have had a brace. But Bruno Fernandes didn't have a midweek game. Bruno Fernandes is now playing 10. Bruno Fernandes is got all the routes to points. And I just feel like there's slightly better form there. I think I'm 60% Bruno, 40% Haaland. It is only those two. Some will look at Enzo, rightly so. He's amazing. Ekitike, someone look at Ekitike. Like, you could go there versus Newcastle. They're not great on the road, and Ekitike looked amazing in the week. Some might even look at Rodgers or Watkins. But for me, it's a two-horse race. I'm likely to go Bruno. I could go Haaland. And with my transfers, I've given you my thoughts. I'd love to get your thoughts on my team, guys. So please let me know what you think I should do. Option 1 or option 2. Drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you for a deadline stream on Saturday morning.